The Jaguars have a workmanlike performance and win 24-0 versus the Colts in their home opener. I'll tell you all about it in just a second here on Locked On Jaguars.
You are Locked On Jags, your daily Jacksonville Jaguars podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What up, good people? Welcome to Locked On Jaguars postcast of the Jaguars home opener, a victory over the Indianapolis Colts, 24-0, a shutout at home in a great performance. We thank you for making us your first listen here on Locked On Jaguars, because it's your team every day, and reminding you that we are free on all platforms, wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe us on YouTube. All right, let's just get right to it. What did they do to win the game? They did what we said here on Locked On Jaguars that they needed to do in order to be successful all year. And today, I called today's game the blueprint. This is how the Jaguars can actually win the AFC South. This is how they can go about their business and win. A very workmanlike, very professional, and it's something, I'm using those words because it's not something that we've seen around here in a long time. They did not appear that they were trying to figure things out. They didn't throw things on the chalkboard to see what stuck. What they did was they executed a plan, and that plan was to stop the run. That plan was to win on first down, create long down and distance situations on second and third down, and then chase the immobile quarterback in Matt Ryan. Now, that challenge will change as they play teams whose quarterback can move around a little bit, and when they play teams that can actually scheme up things where they can get the ball out quickly, and they'll have to grow and learn to grow from that. But as far as today, it was a textbook game. It was the way that it's pretty much written down that the Jaguars will have to play while they're growing and learning who they are, gathering an identity, and figuring things out. Trevor Lawrence was super efficient all day. In fact, it seemed like he went a long time early on without an incompletion. He started to get some a little bit later on, and it didn't really seem like the Jaguars' offense bogged down as much as it was just that they were in control of the game and there was no need for them to take unnecessary risks. The Colts couldn't do a thing, and the Jaguars were able to get out in front of them, take advantage of some situations. The Jaguars simply converted a lot when they had to on third down. And that's really, really a critical thing. They controlled the ball also. The Colts ran 43 plays from scrimmage. Now, if you recall last week, Trayvon Walker ran 65 plays on defense himself, and that's why I said he was a little bit exhausted. They didn't control the ball. The Jaguars today had a run-pass balance of, and I said run first, they threw the ball 37 times and only passed it 30. Trevor Lawrence was 25, that is, out of 30. Only 5 incompletions on the day, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, with a 121.5 quarterback rating. This is what it is. Gus Bradley's defense, and you know this, and Todd Wash's defense, when they don't have great players, what happens with their defense is you can take what they give you, and you can go underneath, and you can dink and dunk. So kudos to Doug Pederson for having that game plan, and kudos to Trevor Lawrence for being able to go out and actually implement the game plan. And that's something that we're going to discuss in segment 2. They also got 5 sacks on defense, led by Josh Allen's 2 quarterback sacks in the first half. A lot of pressure from Trayvon Walker that forced a bad throw, where Rayshon Jenkins, who probably had the best game of his Jaguars career with an interception and a number of other big plays. Arden Key, not only Arden Key, Adam Gossis. These guys were getting after the quarterback. They were chasing Matt Ryan all over the place, and Indy was never really able to establish the run and get themselves in position to do anything. So the Jaguars carried a lead into halftime at 17-0. Came out, finally got more points put on the board, went up 24-0, and from that point, it became a situation where they were just going to milk the clock and run the clock out. Made a plus 50-yard field goal. All facets of the game came into reality today for Jacksonville. So here's segment 2, what I'm going to do on our postcast edition of the Locked On Jaguars podcast. I'm going to talk about the importance of something that occurred between last week and this week. And it's a very big deal. It's something that is extremely important for the growth and the development of your Jacksonville Jaguars as they are victorious with a 24-0 win over the Indianapolis Colts. And I'll tell you more about it here in just a second on Locked On Jaguars after I tell you about PrizePicks.com. I am still alive on 3 different entries on PrizePicks. And if you want to know what PrizePicks is, it's a daily fantasy game with entries where the players have projections, and then you can choose 5 or more entries, and you have to choose whether or not they're going to go more or less. You don't even have to get them all right. You can play the flex option where you can get a couple of those wrong and still get paid. You got to go to your app store or go to prizepicks.com and you download the app or just log in and create an account, and you use the promo code Locked On, and what you're going to get is a 100% instant deposit match of up to $100 with that promo code Locked On. If you put in 50, they're going to match you 50 in promo money. If you give them 100, they're going to match you with $100 to get you started on PrizePicks. So test your knowledge, find out in the daily fantasy game, and see if those entries and player projections will go more or less in your opinion and make you some money at PrizePicks.com. We thank you once again for joining us here on Locked On Jaguars as the Jaguars are victorious here in their home opener versus the Indianapolis Colts. As far as rushing the football, James Robinson carried most of the load at 23 carries for 64 yards. Travis Etienne at 9 carries for 20 yards. Christian Kirk had another good game with 2 touchdowns, 6 receptions, 78 yards. We can go ahead and kill the fact that people thought that he was not worth that money. He absolutely was worth the money. This was a perfect template for Jacksonville in order to win in the future. But listen, it's more than that. This was about whether this young team could actually figure out how to win games. This was about whether this young team could actually understand how to have a short memory when things didn't go well for them a week ago. And they probably should have won, and they could easily be 2-0 right now. This is about transferring things from the football field or things that are on the chalkboard in the locker room and actually going out and doing them on the field and understanding that you can do that. And that's what this young team did. With all the talk of whether or not Trevor was generational, I think he stopped trying to be and just wanted to be a good quarterback today. With all of the talk about whether or not he ran the ball enough last week, Doug Pederson comes out and they run the ball more than they actually throw it because they had the lead. With all of the talk about the mental errors and the mistakes that they made, you did not see those today. And you did see them. You saw them from the side of Indianapolis, and that's because they were forced by the Jacksonville Jaguars. The kicking game worked. There weren't any bad penalties. Nobody did any extracurricular after the whistle. This was a game where a team came out and acted and played like a real, truly professional football team, a very business-like football team. It's like they brought their lunch pail today to the stadium and didn't get caught up in all the hyperbole of playing at home. They came out and they looked competent. And if you're not a Jaguar fan, you do not understand what that means to the people here in Jacksonville. You just don't. It's too many times in the past, they did not look competent. They absolutely did not look like the type of team that could win these type of games, but they were. I got some closing comments, and I'm going to give them to you here in just a second on Locked On Jaguars, but I have to first tell you about Nugenix. Listen, as you get older, which I'm 53, almost 54, you don't always feel your best. You're not in quite as good of a shape as you used to, as you used to be. You don't have the energy, and everything doesn't quite move the way it should. But Nugenix is the truth, because Total T is their product that contains man-boosting and key ingredients like testosterone, and it's been validated in 5 clinical studies shown to boost your free testosterone levels in men, because Nugenix Total T boosts the testosterone that the aging process robs you of to make you feel stronger, leaner, with more energy and drive and more passion, and your partner will appreciate it 2. Now get a complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T when you text NFL to 231-231. Text now and get a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, their most powerful fat incinerator ever, with key ingredients to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text NFL to 231-231. That's NFL 231-231. Message and data rates may apply. Terms apply. Available at nugenix.com/terms. All right, running through here with you here on a postcast. Today's instant reaction to the Jaguars' victory. My final word for you is this. This is key because now they realize the things that you tangibly work on and the things that you say you want to be, you can actually go out and do it, and you can actually go out and be that. And then it's good for the fans, and this is a real important. The fans that have endured so much, is really, really good to know that you have a football team that can be competent, that can go out and actually play like a real professional team, put something on the trestle board, go out on the field and get it done, not be overwhelmed by the moment, not look like they're trying. They actually look like they believe they can do it. And if they believe it, you can be someone who believes it too. Make sure you catch me every single day, the Locked On Jaguars podcast, everywhere that you get your podcast, Monday through Friday, because it's your team every day. And we thank you always for making us your first listen. Until next time, enjoy this victory, Jaguar fans. It's 24-0 over Indy. They win a division game that's very, very important. And now they're no longer in last place. We'll see you tomorrow on Locked On Jaguars.